Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Oh, what up, Mark?
How's it going?
It's going pretty well. You know, it's the spooky season. We're watching stabby movies. What more do you want out of life?
I don't know, man. Stabby movies is a lot. It's a lot to...
Are you doing all right this season of stabby movies?
You know, I'm doing okay. And you know who else is doing okay? The theme this month. The theme this month is doing all right.
Yeah, this month it's doing okay.
What is the theme this
month? That was a lead-in. That was a hint. Oh, okay. Well, the theme this month is our what do we say? Mount Rushmore of
Slasher Villains.
Slasher Villains. Thank you, because my brain just stopped partway through that sentence.
Yeah.
Where our Rushmore has 5 heads on it because we're idiots, and there's 5 weeks this month. It's more of what it has to do with it. Anyway, last week was Jason. This week is Mark selected Ghostface. So the week before that, though, we did Leprechaun, which was shouldn't be here. But
so far, the Rushmore has Warwick Davis's Leprechaun face. It's got Jason Voorhees' hockey mask face. Not his final chapter, final death face.
No, not weird. Sausage
not Sloth
face.
from Goonies.
Yeah.
But, and now we have the Ghostface killer mask face. So I had selected Scream 2 as because it's a almost a 30-year-old franchise.
Yeah, man.
And they are still making Scream films today, and it is one of the only horror slasher franchise that is consistently going through not reboots, but is just continuation of an original story.
Yeah, and Chucky does that, but
oh yeah. Well, Chucky had the television show.
Well, that's part of the series, though.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Chucky goes all the way through. The only one that's not in it is the Chucky that had Mark Hamill as like the AI Chucky robot thing. That movie sucked, so that one doesn't count. But everything else is one continuous story.
Okay, well, I think and we'll get to Chucky next week. But
yes, fuck, I forgot we are doing Trucky. That's right. That's his new name.
Trucky. But anyway, so I'd selected Scream 2 is because it's my favorite Scream film. And also I regard it as the best one. I've seen all of them, throughout the years. But Scream 2 is kind of the standout for me. And I did, full disclosure, I did watch the original Scream film from 95. I think it was 95. Before I watched Scream 2. And I watched them kind of back-to-back nights. And so both are very
nights, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it was,
I love watching Scream movies.
No, and so Scream is regarded as a classic slasher film. And it's regarded as a classic, I think, because it subverts a lot of the.
It changed horror movies for about a decade.
Sure.
Yeah,
it spawned a lot of copycat type films as well,
and it made like horror hip and cool, and not just. It kind of, I don't want to say created the horror comedy genre, but it certainly reinvigorated it, modernized it, and kind of everything was like, we look at the slashers of the past, were all kind of monsters, and these are all humans.
Yeah.
And it's a murder mystery. Like, that's something that doesn't happen in other slashers where, every Scream movie you're trying to find the killer.
Right.
And I remember, like when I Know What You Did Last Summer came out, I was like, oh, I wonder who the killer is. And then you find out
they tell you.
It's the guy you thought it was the whole time. You're like bummed.
Right.
And then they do a sequel and it's the same damn guy. I'm like, shit. It's like everything that came after Scream. I wanted to be like Scream. Have you ever seen the Jared Leto classic Urban Legend?
I have.
That was
Of course, it's got
kind
Jared
of a
Leto in it.
Scream style movie.
Yeah. And
Not very good though.
No, and it's ultimately it's hard to be as good as something that is as well regarded as Scream. And
I personally, for the first Scream film, would use the adjective perfect. For me, it's like perfect. I don't have any complaints. I love that movie.
And that's how I feel about Scream 2. I enjoyed Scream. It's much smaller in scale than Scream 2 is. Scream 2 is a much bigger cast of film.
Well, I think 2 had a bigger budget.
Oh, for sure.
Scream 1
for
did
sure.
gangbusters. But
Yeah. And there's like you said, there is a reason why Scream 2 is as big in scale as it was. I mean, Scream 2 brought in all of the young hip faces from television during the 90s and put them in this film. And so, I mean, we can just go through them, but I mean, you've got what's her name? Heather Graham.
Yes.
Who is, in the movie briefly, but you've got what's his face? We saw him, and he's from Dawson's Creek.
Oh yeah, he is. He was in that werewolf movie. I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
What the fuck is his name?
Diaper.
But he's.
I'll find it. But yeah, he was in it too.
Sean. No, it's not Sean Ashmore.
Sean Astin.
It's not Sean Astin either.
Sean Astin.
But it's also got Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Which is kind of great. Obviously she was in the aforementioned Don't Scream Unless You Hit Somebody on the Road in the Middle of Summer.
Right.
I can't remember his name.
It's got Tori Spelling,
Which is great because they teased Tori Spelling in the first movie.
Right.
I love, and it's the only good part of Goldfinger, the Austin Powers film, is when they do a movie about the previous movie and they recast it. I love it. I really love it. I like that, like you said, Tori Spelling, they show her in this movie. They did a whole opening scene with Heather Graham, but then you see Luke Wilson is playing Billy Loomis.
Yeah.
And it's so bad, like it's purposefully bad, his acting, and I love it. And I kind of wanted more of those scenes to play out, But
yeah, no, it's Joshua Jackson is his name, by the way.
Sure.
From Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
He's in this for like 5 minutes, and
he has like one line. He raises his hand, he says penis, and then or something like that, and he's billed as film class guy #1.
Yeah, which is it's wild, just because Dawson's Creek started in 1998, so this was 97. But this movie takes a lot of 90s. Big time 90s actors and throws them in here at different points, and it's a direct continuation of the movie before. The movie before was very well received and was kind of instantly regarded as this horror classic, and this it doubles down on it, and it doesn't try to reinvent anything. It doesn't try to do anything really new. It just takes everything that it did in the first one, but puts it on a bigger scale. And I really think that was a smart move by, I forget what studio made this film, but
it was Dimension, but you might want to give more credit to like Kevin Williamson,
the
writer, or Wes Craven.
Well, I mean, and Wes Craven is, he's a horror icon, but it's just, to me, this film is funnier and more comedic than the first Scream. and I just really think that there's a lot of witty one-liners in this film, and a lot of the comedic stuff in the first one I think came from what's his face,
Lillard.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lillard. No, the other one.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, Jamie Kennedy.
Well, who I did too.
No, I know, but like there's a lot like the guy who plays the cameraman in this one. He's got a lot of good one-liners. It's just like I don't know. I felt like this one was funnier to me. But also not as gory as the first Scream. When I was watching the first Scream, and it was as gory as it was. I was like, oh, holy shit! I didn't remember this film being as gory as it was.
And then wait till you watch the third one, and there's like none at all. That's so tame. I hate the third one, but I don't hate the third one. It's still watchable, but it's not as good as the previous two. Right. I can tell you because I saw the second one in the theater, and I can say that I did not enjoy it as much. And I think most of it came down to the killer reveals. I found them to be less surprising, and less interesting to me because Laurie Metcalf is in this, and I love Laurie Metcalf. She's mostly known for her role on Roseanne, but she was also on the Norm Macdonald had a sitcom called Norm, and she was on that, and I love that show. And she's fine in this, but she was not on screen enough or developed enough for me to care that, oh no, what a betrayal. Whereas in the first movie, and none of the movies have matched the reveal. The closest I think is like 4 and 5, but they really haven't matched the reveal of the first movie to me with the surprise and everything. And, because both Billy Loomis was huge in the role, like he was huge throughout the movie. Stu Macher was huge throughout the movie. And then you get the reveal and it just hits a lot harder. Whereas in this, like I said, Laurie Metcalf's barely in the movie. Timothy Olyphant is barely in the movie. They kind of show him early on hanging out with the gang.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish he was around more. And they could have done that because there were 2 killers in this movie. In the third movie, there's only 1, so it makes sense that guy's barely around. But that one was even more disappointing. But I just, like, I don't know. I felt like they needed to be closer to the group in order for this to be good. Like, they're not even on the damn poster, right? And if you go back and look at the Scream 5 poster, maybe it was Scream 6, but it says the killer is on this poster, which is great marketing. But that's really my big problem with this movie and the third one is that the reveals for me just fell flat.
Well, I enjoyed watching it today, you can tell that there's some obvious signs that Timothy Olyphant is he's got a spotlight on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the camera, and then later you see that the killer's filming things, and there's hints, but they're not. Right. So, and that's the thing. Like why the first one was so good to me is all of the hints that Billy was the killer. There were so many that you just assumed, nah, he's a red herring. He's not the killer. There's just too much pointing in that direction. And then he turns out to be the killer. And that's how they surprise you, by making it so obvious you don't believe it. And that's what it was so genius about that one to me. But
yeah, no, I also enjoyed the red herring of Liev Schreiber in this one. And up until the end, I was questioning, is he actually a bad guy? He may not be the killer, but is he actually a bad guy?
Well, he is kind of a douchebag, though, right?
Yeah, he's kind of a douchebag, but like at the end,
but at the same time, I kind of get it. Like he was,
yeah, right. He was wrongly accused and spent a year in jail.
And now he's trying to get something out of it.
Right. And he quite obviously wants some repayment for, what he's been through. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him in that regard. And, so the red herring of him potentially being the killer, I get it. And I get where the writing was going with his kind of his story arc. I was, for a little bit, I was wondering about Jamie Kennedy, until,
I would have loved that.
Right.
Like, to me, I'd have been like, okay. I mean, it probably would have been a bummer because that's another thing that pisses me off. He's like the best part of the first movie. And then they kill him off in this movie.
Well, he's got the best line in this movie.
Which is what?
The killer asking what's your favorite scary movie, he says Showgirls.
Yes. Yeah. I like that he felt prepared for that conversation.
Yeah.
It's the thing, I kind of wish they wouldn't have killed him because I think the film series
has
been trying to replace the film buff character.
Yeah.
Throughout it, the guy who explains the rules. And none of them touch Jamie Kennedy. And I know that I think he's been kind of discussed as being kind of hard to work with and things like that. And maybe that's why
he got Me Too'd, didn't he?
I don't think he got Me Too'd. I think he maybe in the sense of like Ellen did, where, Ellen didn't sexually assault anyone, but just a real prick, I think is what I recall. I could be wrong. He might be an angel of a man, but I don't think that's the case.
But also his character is a lot of the glue in the first and second films. He's the one that is like you said, establishes.
They should have killed Courtney Cox in this one. To me, that would have gone so much farther.
She was too big of a star at this point, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, certainly, I think Friends doesn't hurt.
Well, she's top billing. Like her and Neve Campbell are, the two, A-listers in these movies, this one and the previous. And so I think if you kill her, you probably tank some of your profits from the next film.
So here's another issue. And I have this problem with every Scream film except the first one, is that they kill off too many people.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that from the survivors of the first movie, we had, I don't really count Cotton Weary because he really wasn't in the first movie.
Right.
It's like on the TV in the background. But we have, the main three, Dewey, Gail, and Neve Campbell's character's name I can't think of. Sydney.
Yeah.
And they are the core three throughout pretty much the rest of this, the whole series, except for 6. But my issue is that in this movie, they don't leave any new characters alive. All of them are dead.
Yeah.
And then maybe Lee Schreiber is one you could argue is a new character.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. But then in the next movie, everyone dies but the core three. And so when the fourth movie rolls around, which the fourth movie is almost more of a reboot because it was like 10 years or so.
Right.
They establish almost completely new cast, right? A new cast of teens. They establish this new Sydney. This is the new Sydney. And then all of them die except for the 3. And so we never have like any surprises to me. So I kind of think like you do this movie again and maybe, the cameraman becomes part of the new cast, or you bring someone in and you bump off Jamie Kennedy and you have a little bit more rotation. You keep things a little more lively because otherwise you're just not actually allowing the series to grow in a meaningful way to me. And I especially felt that on 4 because 4 felt like a reboot and they still killed everyone off but the 3 main characters. So
Well, which one had which was the first one with like Jenna Ortega and
that was 5. And so 5 did a better job, right? They established 4 characters,
right.
right? The 2 sisters and then the brother and sister that were Jamie Kennedy's niece and nephew. And then 6 rolls around, everyone dies but the core 4. And so they kind of repeat what I don't like.
Yeah.
And so we now know going forward, of course, we're essentially getting a reboot of a reboot with Neve Campbell coming back, but it's like...
But she hasn't been in one since what, 4?
No, she was in 5.
Oh, she was in 5, okay.
Yeah, they skipped 6 because of money, which was stupid. She's the
Right.
heart and soul of the franchise. What the fuck
Right.
are you doing? How do we have a movie that we don't hear, hello, Sydney? How
Right.
did that happen? Fucking stupid.
One of my favorite things about Scream 2 is Dewey's entrance music. You know, it's like
Yeah, hum it.
I don't know. I was
Yeah,
about this,
don't
the
hum it.
Law and Order music.
Oh, he had Law and Order music.
No, but no, it's like the just like every time he's on screen, or most every time.
Yeah.
And you can argue that Dewey is kind of 1B to Sydney's 1A.
Dewey's my favorite character in the series.
No,
Like,
for sure.
he's
for sure.
awesome.
But like you could argue that he is kind of the other linchpin to the franchise, and he gets killed off in what?
5.
5. Is it 5?
Full spoilers for all these. Yeah, he gets killed off in 5.
Oh, and Courtney Cox dies in 6?
Nope, she survives.
Wait, so she's still alive in the last Scream movie?
I thought she was going to get killed. They didn't do it. Oh. But maybe with Neve coming back, they'll do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I just enjoy about 2. They made Dewey is the main protagonist. And not the main protagonist. He is kind of the knight in shining armor, essentially. And I really enjoyed that about the film, is because I felt like he kind of got a raw deal in the first movie. Not his character essentially, but like as far as screen time goes, he was there at the end, and he essentially saves them. But I just felt like he got shit on the entire movie, and he gets that redemption at the end. But this movie establishes him as the kind of the man, and I really enjoy it. And David Arquette is very good as this character. And did you know his dad is in this?
No.
His dad is the chief of police.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, Louis Arquette, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think they even do a nod to that now.
Do they?
Yeah, in the film, there's just a little moment between them both.
Well, it's I thought it was cool. Kind of acting next to your dad, but no, I enjoyed the and my wife even mentioned it when they're in the theater towards the end of the movie, and how theatrical everything is in that scene in the theater. The set design is really good. I mean, it's a full theatrical play set design. And what's his name? O'Connell gets.
I like Jerry O'Connell in this movie too.
Oh yeah, no, he's very good.
I think they did a great job of I think his death was the best one. Because
it wasn't stabby.
Well, it was different, but I think it was a shock. But at the same time, it was one of the guys. I'm like, maybe you keep Jerry O'Connell around for the next movie.
Nope.
But I think that his was so well done because of the whole double fake.
Yeah.
Of, come on, you can stop pretending. We've got her, and I thought that was so well done. And even when I watch the movie now, I feel for him when he gets killed. And he's probably the only one, technically Dewey doesn't get killed, but that's not great for him to get stabbed because I like Dewey a lot. But he's the one where he gets killed, and I'm like, damn, that sucks. That's a terrible way to go. And now imagine the trauma that Sydney's been in.
Oh, God.
She didn't believe him. She wouldn't let him down because she thought he might be the killer. And then he gets killed, and you find out he's not. It's just brutal.
There isn't enough therapy on Earth to give.
It's so nuts, and it is probably the best part of the movie.
No, and also O'Connell's character is one of the only true good guy character, like good from start to finish characters.
Dewey.
Well, no, I'm saying one of the only.
Yeah.
There's
Dewey's the prince,
right? But like him and O'Connell are the only two characters in this film that are set up that way.
Yeah.
And O'Connell gets killed, and that's why I felt bad. I was just like, oh, he's such a good guy. I just love all the mention of all the nods to horror films from the past in this movie, all the references. Jamie Kennedy's character Randy, he's he's constantly throwing out just names and references to other horror films as they're trying to figure out who the killer could be. It's just very smart. This movie's very smart in that regard, because the first film does a lot of that too, but the first film kind of does it and presents Jamie Kennedy as kind of just this exclusive film nerd. Here in this film, he actually serves a purpose. He's part of leading the story from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And whereas in the first one, he was just kind of there as this kooky, comedic character that just referenced, other horror films.
He didn't do a lot of the hunting.
Right. Correct.
But he had some of the best scenes in that movie. The scene in the VHS store in 2. So good. Or 1, excuse me.
All right. So, what's your favorite kill in this movie?
Oh, Jerry O'Connell.
No. Oh, yeah, you just said that.
Yeah, it's just brutal. And it's not brutal because it's super violent. It's just emotionally brutal. It's pretty fucked up.
Mine's either Omar Epps or Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Ghostface just he stabs Sarah Michelle Gellar 18 times, and then he throws her off a 5-story building.
Well, I think Jada Pinkett Smith's death is up there though too.
Yeah, but hers is, it's very close and kind of intimate.
Yeah, but it's in that theater, and there's all those people around, and everyone thinks it's a gag. And
yeah.
I think this is one of the best openings. So each movie has these classic openings, although I can't remember 3's. So it's the one I've seen the least because 3 isn't the best. But 4's is incredible.
I don't remember what 4's was.
4's is, if you're going to rewatch them, I won't spoil it for you, but it's
okay.
It's one of my favorite. 4 and 6 have amazing openings. 5's pretty good, but it's the first one that's actually part of the continuing narrative of that story. Whereas usually it's this first kill that kind of kicks everything off, and you're not with that character. But in 5, you're with the character through the whole thing. So it's different. But 6 is crazy. Anyway, but this is another one of the good ones.
Yeah, and I especially just like Omar Epps because he gets stabbed in the side of the head.
That one's kind of classic. Stall. And then it's hilariously parodied in a Scary Movie with the penis through the head.
Yeah.
Remember that? Classic.
Classic.
What a great joke.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot left to say about I will say I do think that they underutilized Timothy Olyphant, much like you said earlier. But he just at the end of the film, man, he is just having a blast.
I love him in just about anything he does. He's
I do
so
too.
good.
I do
And
too.
he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
he's naturally a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think underutilized is exactly what's happening here.
Well, and and at the end of the movie, he is just like he is being just larger than life. He is like hamming it up, and it's such a departure from like Skeet Ulrich in the first one. Not so much Matthew Lillard, but because he's just kind of that goofy character all the way through. But Timothy Olyphant goes from being kind of the cool, reserve guy who's, you think, oh yeah, he's part of the group, but maybe he's not. To then at the end of the movie, he is just like villainous, and just being this larger than life character. And then his when Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox shoot him at the same time, and his just it's so over the top. Like he flies back and he like rolls backwards like 8 times into the fake bricks because it's a theater set. I just thought it was kind of classic to me.
Oh, and I like the way he kind of rises up and screams.
Yeah.
Because they had that. Oh, they always come back fake out.
Yeah.
I have a question for the police corner.
Okay.
Okay, so at the end of this movie, Laurie Metcalf is laying down, completely, possibly dead,
Yeah.
but unconscious, and Neve Campbell shoots her in the head just to be sure.
Sure.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, this happens in the state of Florida, where you're more familiar with the laws.
Okay.
Is that illegal? To double tap something? If they're no longer, if they're incapacitated?
So the answer would depend on the person that did it in their interview, right? Like if they said, "Oh no, that person, like in my history of almost being murdered, like they always come back, and I was just making sure because like everybody's dying around me," you're probably like, we probably don't need to do that, but kind of get it. To the law, yes, it is. It would probably be aggravated battery at that point, is what's called aggravated battery. It's because the threat is no longer imminent.
Yeah.
And so the law says that you can protect yourself. The law here in Florida says you can protect yourself with the means necessary when faced with the threat of death or great bodily harm until that threat is no more. And so, her laying what we see is probably dead, and then Neve Campbell coming up to her and shooting her in the head. It's like, ooh, it's probably. They'd have to do an autopsy.
That was my question. I was wondering, if you could just.
Also like a jury would probably,
because she's used to the they always come back.
Right.
And anytime you and I or anyone's really watching like a Freddy or Jason movie,
yeah,
when they're down, you're like, cut their head off.
Right.
Make sure.
Right.
But that's horror movie logic. In the real world, I don't think that's ever happened.
Right. No, and one of the lines from Lee Schreiber after, I guess what's her face is she's dead essentially. And then Courtney Cox pops up out of the fog in the orchestra pit or whatever and scares the shit out of Lee Schreiber. And then he's off camera, but he says the line. He's like, "There's nobody else down there, is there?"
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. And Lee Schreiber, he's very funny in this film.
He's great in another one of those guys who's great in just about anything he does.
Yeah. And so, it's just like he's a new character that is established for this film that pops up in the next film. I'll wait to see if he dies in that one because I don't remember. But
which one? 3?
3, yeah.
You want me to spoil it? I can tell you.
No, I don't want you to.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
But who else is in this movie? Portia de Rossi, who is
she?
Ellen's ex-wife?
I think they're still together.
Oh, yeah, she's one of the two
Oh,
sorority girls.
Yeah, and the other one is
Rebecca Gayheart.
Yeah, and she was in the aforementioned Urban Legend.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, and I also know her from a TV show I really like called Dead Like Me.
Dead Like Me. Have I seen that? I don't know.
Those old Showtime shows, really good.
Yeah, I think I might have seen it. I don't know. Who else is in this? Who makes an appearance? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, where does 2 rank in your pantheon of Scream films?
I would say I'll just give you my full rundown. It's
Okay.
easier because I don't know where it goes off top. But my favorite is 1. Then probably 4. Then 5. Then 2. Then 6. Then 3. So.
Okay.
6, I guess.
Yeah, you're more of a Scream fan than I am, so I figured I'd ask. But all right, so do you recommend this one?
Yeah, I do. It's still great, and it's still really entertaining, and it has Jamie Kennedy's character Randy in it. And it's the last time we get. Well, there is a cameo in 3, but it's anyway. Yeah, I do like it. And how about you?
No, yeah, I recommend it. It's one of my favorite 90s films. It's one of my favorite slasher films, and I just think it does so much for the slasher genre. It carries from Scream to Scream 2, and there is no letdown. There is no well, this wasn't quite as good. I mean, there's personal opinion, but
right.
Largely
for you, it met all your expectations.
Yeah,
maybe
and
exceeded them.
And like I'm going to be let down when I watch Scream 3, obviously, but
yes, because
but
I don't know anyone who like sings the praises of 3.
Right, and so like there is and I did enjoy the film discussion in film class in the movie, where they talk about the sequels, and there's no sequel as good as the original.
I have to disagree with Randy on these.
Which one?
All of them. I mean, because Terminator 1 is incredible, but Terminator 2 is better.
But they're almost 2 different movies, right? And James Cameron is that type of director.
And then the same thing. They said Aliens is better than Alien.
Right.
That
2
one's
different
arguable because they're very different films.
Very different.
But anyway,
but you
most
could argue
of the evidence that Timothy Oliphant put up, I kind of agreed with more than
What did he say?
And then he never did argue against Godfather Part 2.
No, nobody.
He just did an impression.
But I mean, everybody regards Godfather 2 as the best Godfather movie.
Never seen it. Only ever saw the first one.
Oh, you're missing out, bro.
Probably.
We might have to do Mafia month or something.
Oh, that's going to be a long month. There's no such thing as a short Mafia movie.
It's true.
There isn't.
It's true.
Like, find one under 3 hours. Good luck.
But most of them are actually really good movies.
And they're mostly directed by Scorsese.
Yeah.
So.
No, but like I thought a lot of the film class discussion was really good. It was really very centered on pop culture, because most of those movies were only 5 years old at the time, like when did Aliens come out?
80.
Was it late 80s?
Yeah, it would have been the 80s.
So I mean, we're talking 10 years. That'd be like a movie coming out now and talking about a bunch of Marvel films and which one's the best, right? It just,
86 was Aliens.
Oh, really?
Alien was 79.
Damn, those movies are fucking old.
Yep.
That just means we're fucking old.
also yet, because I was when we started, I'm like, I was gonna call Scream a modern day classic, and then I just realized, no, I'm just old. Scream is not a modern day classic; it's just a classic.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, I recommend this one as well. Hey, so what are we watching next week?
Next week we're gonna check out the killer doll, Chucky. One of my favorites. Love Chucky almost as much, maybe more than I love Jason. Who's to say? But I do love Chucky. We're going to watch what is probably my favorite Chucky movie, The Bride of Chucky, starring Jennifer Tilly. And another Arquette, Alexis Arquette, is in this movie. So looking forward to watching this one again. Very much love it.
Do I need to watch the ones before it?
No, I don't think so, because the first three are... This is almost like a reboot, but not quite, because the first three are basically the same plot. Chucky tries to kill Andy. Three straight movies.
Right.
And then this one, it's just different.
Yeah,
you'll see he's all kind of torn up from the first few movies, but that's all you need to know. Chucky has been trying to kill Andy for 3 straight movies. I don't even think Andy's in this one, so it's a good diving in point if you haven't watched Chucky films. But you should watch them all, because they're all, well, maybe not all of them.
This is on Netflix. Good. Okay. Cool.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah.
That's what it says.
Bride of leaving soon. We gotta watch it. When's it leaving? Leaving October 31st. You got all month. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Seed of Chucky's on there. Child's Play 1 or Child's Play 2 and 3. Cult of Chucky, Curse of Chucky. You could do a Chucky binge. It's Child's Play 1 on here. How the hell do they have everything but the first Child's Play?
It's got to be a different studio, probably.
Yeah.
I think that's how
you can watch everything but Child's Play. You can start it too. And all you need to know about Child's Play 1 is Chucky tried to kill Andy. That's it.
Yeah. What else?
And you know how Chucky got possessed, right?
Yeah. It was a yeah.
Yeah.
It was
serial
a kid.
killer put his spirit in the body of a doll.
Yeah. And the show, because I watched the show, the show reference kind of reiterates all that.
Because the show is a continuation.
Right.
Because the last 2 Chucky movies really changed the narrative of Chucky. Especially the last one, Cult of Chucky, is completely changes things in a different way that sets up for the show. But anyway, they're great movies.
You know what else is great? You hitting the subscribe button when it pops up if you're watching here on YouTube. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. You know what else you can do is if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Again, right here on YouTube. Give us a like, follow, and a subscribe. And if you want to follow Jeff, too bad you can't.
You can't. I'm incognito, baby.
If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at I Heard You Liked.
Yeah, that's my bad. That's usually my thing. But this whole not having Twitter has thrown me off.
Yeah.
He's I Heard You Liked. And then we say
and don't
how about
forget
this? Hey Mark.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no.
No, you go.
Okay. Don't forget the podcast releases weekly every Thursday on your favorite podcast streaming platform.
Hey Mark.
Yeah, hey.
Any last words of wisdom?
Ooh.
Put on the spot. Like you do me every damn episode.